I mean, Berlanga said he has a higher ring IQ than Canelo, so we're gonna see some things we never seen.
Yeah, like, well, how does that look?
Well, that's what he said, so I don't know. I don't know. See, you know what the most powerful information in the world is?
What's it?
Information that I know that you don't know. So information that he knows about Canelo that Canelo don't know, then we don't know. He has a game plan. He says he has a game plan. We don't know what it is. And it's probably better to not to know what it is. Because, it's just going to destroy from the masterpiece that's going to be on September 14th.
Okay.
Bro,
so
yeah.
What?
How surprised would you be if Berlanga wins that? Would you be surprised?
I tell you, how do you think he would win?
Knockout.
Knockout? Would it be a vicious knockout?
Nah, probably puts them together.
Puts them together?
He catches them with one and then puts 2-3 together.
You don't think it's gonna be just a one punch?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you see it as a one punch, or do you think it's like accumulation?
I don't know. We're in uncharted territory right now. We're in uncharted territory.
So it turns out I'm not the only one who thinks Canelo is an arrogant piece of shit. Turki Alalshikh recently revealed that Canelo refused to meet with him in person and isn't entertaining any deals to be done with him. Why? Because he's outpriced himself so much that the Saudis don't even want to deal with him. And it's all because he will do anything not to fight David Benavidez. Look, Turkey is trying to make the best fights that everybody wants to see. And Canelo continues to take the fights that nobody wants to see. That takes me to Edgar Berlanga, who is fighting Canelo on September 14. Now he claims he has a whole country behind him. Edgar, bro, you're from Brooklyn. I think I'm more Puerto Rican than you are, and I only lived there for 6 years. Puerto Rico doesn't claim you, bro. And as I said weeks ago, this fight will not do well on September 14. Not only because the matchup is okay, but because they're going up against the UFC's debut at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Now that's a spectacle that everyone and their mother has been waiting to see since it opened up about a year ago. And who is funding it and making it all happen? Turki Alalshikh. Canelo, you're really making the wrong enemies. But you know what?
He's got to have boxing skills that he doesn't have, a chin that he doesn't have, and experience that he doesn't have. So it's either going to be a long night or more likely a real short night.
How offended are you when you hear Edgar Berlanga talk about you as if you're some journeyman, making comments like he's not going to go out the way that you did?
Yeah.
How unaware is he about the levels that he's getting ready to step up to?
Yeah, unaware is a good word. That's a real good word. And, I'm just watching the press conference, and he's focused on me. You know what I'm saying? But he needs to focus on what's in front of him because he's got a full plate in front of him. And, he seems distracted. So, and I think that shows that he hasn't been to this level before. Because, even when me and Canelo had our press conference, he pushed me. And so, obviously, a natural reaction as a fighter is to come back. And, the press conference got chippy. But even then, I'm not focused on other fighters in the crowd. You got to focus on what's in front of you. Or, you'll look up and there ain't now nothing's in front of you. So it speaks to his experience level.
Canelo kind of came out of the bag on him. They've been relatively friendly, it looked like, going back and forth, but he seemed to get annoyed, especially when your name was brought up. How does that make you feel with Canelo coming to your defense the way he did?
Yeah, there's still some competitive tension between me and Canelo, I'm sure. At least for me, anybody, if you're at 168, then there's competitive tension for me. I'm a competitive guy. I love sports. I want to win. I want to be great. And, but, he kind of threw me an alley-oop there, and I, came with the dunk. So that was a cool moment between Canelo and I. He's been really respectful since our fight. Anytime he's seen me, he's made it a point to go out of his way to come over, dap me up, give me a hug. And so, it's cool. But
You actually revisit the moment when you called him the mother effer. He kind of joked with you there about the previous moment.
Yeah. It's like, oh, what? I'm like, yo, what motherfucker means now, huh? And he was like, yeah, you taught me. But his ass knew at the press conference. He knew from the get-go. He was playing dumb, but it's all good. You know, we shook our hands. We kept it fight related. We had our battle. We shook hands, and you know, it's on to the next. So.
You know, at the end of the day, Berlanga is a big puncher, man. He can't just walk in there either thinking that Berlanga comes with nothing, because he does carry a real big punch.
Yeah, he carries a big punch, but most everybody at 168 carries a big punch. You know, there was a fighter once upon a time who said that I couldn't punch, and that, you know, what are you gonna do? Run me around the ring till I get tired?
Yeah.
And you know, he wound up getting his grave dug, and I want to get knockout of the year. So everybody at 168 hits hard. So, and you know, I hit hard. Okay, well, we all hit hard. Okay, I got courage. Okay, we all got courage. We're fighters. So you got to bring something else to the table. And Berlanga spoke to that, saying it takes IQ, but it's just unfortunate for him because he don't really have much of that.
And he talked about IQ. He's talked about chin.
Yeah, and everyone started rolling their eyes.
And I was going to get on that. How far behind, proverbially, do you really think that Berlanga is?
I mean, you know, I couldn't put a number on it, but I don't think he's up to par.
What do you make about this fight with Canelo?
Even though Berlanga says that I hate him and I talk a lot of shit about him, I'm cheering for him. I think I wish him the best. I think he's a young fighter, very talented. I think if he trains, it looks like he's training hard. He's super disciplined. We could have a big upset, and I would love for him to beat Canelo so he can take all those belts away, and then all these other fighters have a better opportunity. With Canelo, you never know what's happening. You know, he doesn't have, Berlanga doesn't have that power, you know, to choose and do whatever he wants at this point. So that, I think that will give more opportunity to all the 168s. But at the end of the day, Canelo's a great fighter, pound for pound the best, and I think he can adjust, and I think this style is going to fit for him, you know, to beat Berlanga. But I'm cheering for Berlanga.
I'm surprised. Why are you cheering for Berlanga?
I like him. Like I said, you know, I like him. And like I said, the only other reason that I want him to beat Canelo, so all these other fighters can have opportunities to fight for those belts. I feel that Canelo's been has these belts hostage for a long time. They already took one away, but he still has 3 of them. So, I mean, who's gonna he fight next after Berlanga? You know, so I'll be happy if Berlanga can beat him. Maybe we can fight Berlanga.
I know Canelo's gonna win, so shout out Canelo.
So you don't even need to go to the Canelo fight because you know he's going to win.
Yes.
You don't. You
There's no disrespect to boxing to Canelo,
Right.
but we know Canelo's gonna win by knockout. Let me see, 6th or 9th round.
Honestly, this is a great fight. You know, Canelo is a legend taking on a young, hungry fighter. Okay, it's not Benavidez, but Berlanga is a threat. He's young, he's strong, he's bigger than him, he's hungry, he has everything to gain. Canelo has everything to lose. You know, it's a Puerto Rico versus Mexico rivalry. It makes perfect sense. It's a marketable fight. And you gotta understand, boxing is about what can sell, you know, and Puerto Ricans love boxing, Mexicans love boxing, and that's what it's all about. It's about an event. It's an event, you know?
You always tell me every time a fight ends over there at the T-Mobile Arena, you're like, I want some money. I want some money. You just told me that right now.
Oh,
again.
yeah, I want
So
on
how
real,
who are you going to bet on this fight?
I mean, if I had a bet, I got to bet against the odds. I got to bet Berlanga. That's the only way you're going to win money, you know? And, you know, Berlanga's my guy. You know, we have fun together. Outside, you know, we be outside together, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I consider him a real friend. He's been in my house. You know, we've been on yachts together, having fun. So that's my bro up there. You know,
you think
I'm
he can
proud
knock
of
him out? You think he can knock Canelo out?
He has the power to. He has the power to. He's got to go now. Like, you know, boxing's all right here. Boxing's all right here. If you believe you can do it, you can really do it. You know, because, you know, Canelo has been beat. You know, he's not unbeatable. You can beat him. You got to believe. But, you know, it's a mountain to climb because it is Canelo. You know, Canelo's a dog. That's one thing I can say. Canelo's a dog. So in order to beat somebody like Canelo, you got to really believe yourself because he's a vet.
What do you think about Canelo Berlanga? People want Benavidez. Is Berlanga a young fighter,
Yes.
big puncher?
Yes, I know, but the level of opponents is a different. Canelo has experience, Berlanga he doesn't have, and then this is the difference. I think the pressure is for Berlanga. I think Berlanga needs experience. Berlanga needs to fight with another great fighters. I think Canelo knocked him out.
He knocks out Berlanga.
Yeah. I knocked him out in 7 rounds.
And where does Canelo go from there? He knocks out Berlanga. What does Canelo do?
I don't know. Right now in September is Berlanga. What happened with Benavidez? Benavidez grew up to 140, 175.
Yes.
Why? I don't know. Why, Benavidez he is a number one contender for WBC.
For like 2 years, he's saying, even 2 years, he say he can't get the fight.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Canelo's team doesn't give the fight for Benavidez. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I think Benavidez is a good fighter, great fighter for Canelo.
Are you okay with Canelo, what he's doing? He kind of feels like he's earned the right to fight whoever he wants, pick and choose.
No, I think Canelo needs to fight with the number one opponents in every division, in every WBO, WBA, WBC. I don't know what happened with the associations to make the fight. We need to see the great fights.
What's your perspective on Canelo fighting someone like a Berlanga at this point of his career?
Yeah, if he was fighting the Berlanga who was in the middle of the long knockout streak back at the beginning of his career, 1.5 to 2 years ago, that would look a little bit better. Since that time, Berlanga has been somewhat defrocked and shown to have some technical holes in his game. Technical holes in your game are not a good way to beat Canelo Alvarez. He's a brilliant technician.
Okay, regardless of the opponent, do you feel it's a good fight, that it's going to end up being a good fight?
No. I think Canelo's going to undress Berlanga.
Pretty cool.
But I could be being unfair to Berlanga just by virtue of the fact that I'm going so quickly to the logical conclusion here. But at the end of the day, I expect Canelo to technically undress him and make a strong statement that he's still Canelo Alvarez.
Now, given that Canelo chose this, what does that say about him at this point? I don't know.
That he can do whatever he chooses,
but
that he has the position and the market power and the eminence as a fighter to call the dance the way he wants to call it. He knows doggone good and well what Crawford is all about here. He understands exactly what that is. So he has the power. Terrence has to do this. Terrence has to do that. He's not necessarily going to state it openly that way, but he'll make the implications clear that Crawford has to go up the rungs of the ladder in a certain way if he's actually going to get a fight against Canelo Alvarez.
David Benavidez moving up to 175 pounds, I think 2 days before, saying like, hey, I'm staying, or not staying, I'm campaigning in this new division. I'm not staying at 168 pounds. But, a lot of people there are saying, hey, you should have fought David. You should have been fighting David for the past year.
A lot of people do say that. A lot of people will say that. Probably in the quiet of his shower in the hotel room, Canelo grumbles a little bit about that, feels a little bit dispossessed by that. But at the end of the day, he's still the one who says yes or no as to whether the fight takes place. So
now,
that's his satisfaction.
Is this a good precedent he's setting, Canelo? I know he's only doing what was done before with the other big players in the sport, but him being the figure that he is, him being the reigning undisputed champion, doesn't he have an obligation to just fight the top guys, the number one guys, because of that?
He's Canelo Alvarez. Functionally and in reality, he has no obligation. He has put himself at a different level and at the level from which he can call the dance. And if fans don't like what Canelo does, he's still Canelo Alvarez. He's still the one who determines, in this particular instance, who's going to make how much money for what kind of risk against a fighter like him. So as long as he's in that position of power, he doesn't have to care much about who criticizes him or why.
I want to touch on the Canelo versus Berlanga fight. It surprised me, surprised a lot of boxing fans, the choice of Berlanga for Canelo. But when you heard the news, what'd you make of it and what was your reaction?
Canelo's the chosen one. He's the golden boy. He brings in the numbers. He brings the money in. He earned it. He pay-per-view the whole thing, the cash cow. So he can choose guys, that he wants to fight better than other people can, or has the option that other fighters don't have. And they're not the one that's necessarily bringing the money in, or the kind of level of money that Canelo brings. So he has the ability, the privilege of picking a guy, if it's smaller, if it's older, if it's young, less experienced, whatever it is. He had, and listen, it's not a knock. I'm here not to make friends. I'm here to state things that I believe are based to the truth in this business, or attached to the truth in this business after 50 years in this business. So some people take it as attacking of him. Not at all. Just it's a fact that he's the guy who can handpick who he wants to fight. In Berlanga, I wasn't surprised. No, I'll be honest. I wasn't surprised at all. I figured he was the front runner. He's got an undefeated record. He's coming off a good win. He's building a following in the sport. Obviously, he has been. He's a young, talented fighter, but he's an inexperienced fighter at this level. He just started fighting the last couple of fights at a better level. And he's looked good, Berlanga. He's improved. I give him credit. And like I say, he's a talented kid. But it reminds me very much of Munguia. When they picked Munguia, they picked Munguia for a reason. Look, Munguia had more fights than Berlanga, but not the fights that count. Not of that level, not of the level anywhere, of course, near Canelo, but not of a level or stage to prepare him for Canelo. Canelo's an experienced, solid guy, strong, good puncher, good counter puncher. He's slowing down a little bit. He's not as busy as he used to be. He might not be the same finisher he used to be. He definitely is starting to slow down a little bit, but he always gets up for the big fights, for the ones that he needs to get up for, it seems. He has that capacity to do that. And in Munguia, I felt that they were being very studious, very smart. They know how to pick guys, where they picked Munguia, who I like a lot. Great chin, great heart. Nice offensive fighter, but a guy who was a little short on defense, but had been improving. I give Munguia credit. He's improved the last 2 years. He really has. But not enough, and again, not with the seasoning that he needed to deal with Canelo right now. He wasn't quite ready. I felt, and I said that. I said it on the air before the fight. I'm not doing Monday morning quarterback when it's over, and then I'm trying to look smart. I'm saying whether I look smart or dumb. I'm consistent saying what I said before the fight. Sometimes I'm wrong. That time I was right. That Munguia wasn't quite ready for Canelo. I feel the same exact way again with Berlanga, and I feel they're using the same metrics to pick him as they use with Munguia. That they feel that Berlanga's not quite, maybe he's 2-3 fights away from being ready for this kind of move, this kind of step up. And but the only X factor in it is the age. That Canelo is getting older. I think there's a little slippage, not a lot, but a little slippage. And again, not a knock on him. I mean, everyone gets older. But that's the only X factor for me, is if between the Munguia fight and now, Canelo has aged a little bit. And if he has, well, then that catches Berlanga up a little bit. That makes up for some of that slack I'm talking about as far as not quite having the seasoning and quite being ready. That helps him, if that's the fact. I don't think it's the fact yet. I don't think yet, especially with a guy who's going to engage him. I think that I said the same thing about the Munguia fight. If I was, for my 2 cents, if I was training Munguia, I would have kept it on the outside. I wouldn't have engaged him. I would have kept it on the outside with the jab, with the length, with the size, and used his young legs to keep Canelo from doing the thing that he can still do real well, which is counterpunch, and catch you a big punch. If you're on the outside jab and you're giving him nothing to counter, you're making it much more difficult. Now you got to make him use his older legs to come and get you, and that's when you start to sometimes show the problems that an older fighter can have is when you force them to use their legs, to come forward, to do those things. But McGee was a fighter, and he fought him. He engaged with him. Berlanga's a fighter. I don't know. Maybe his team will get him to fight more on the outside, use his legs more, box a little bit more. I think that would be the way I'd go about it and would give Berlanga the best chance that he could have in this fight. And hope it doesn't go to the scorecards in a close fight, because you ain't getting a close fight with Canelo. I mean, for the most part. I mean, Beaver won, 11 out of 12 rounds, and I don't think I'm being unfair. And what happened? On the scorecards, it was a close fight. I mean, which I think was absurd, but I think there's a few things in my sport of boxing that I've been in 50 years that sometimes can be a bit absurd.
September 14th is Canelo versus Berlanga. We've been asking people, all around, hey, what do they think about the fight? And does Berlanga, how does he win? How is he able to win against a guy like a Canelo Alvarez?
Well, it's going to be tough. That's a tough out for anyone in this sport. Berlanga, we know he's just going to come. He's going to come. He's going to try, but Canelo has just too much experience. Too much experience. He's seen every style there is in the sport. So there's nothing that Berlanga is going to attempt to try to do that he hadn't seen before, and he'll be able to counter that. But it'll be a fun fight. It'll be a very entertaining fight.
Why do you feel that it'll be a fun fight as opposed to like a one-sided Canelo fight?
No, it's definitely going to be entertaining. Definitely, because Berlanga ain't no chump. He ain't no chump, and he's going to bring it. He's going to come. He wants to represent his entire culture, and the fans that will be in attendance, and the fans will be watching all around the world. He's going to want to put on a great performance. He knows the Canelo's at the top of the division, and this is for all the marbles. And he's going to want to come and put on a great performance.
Yeah, a lot of people are looking at it as, it's going to be one-way Canelo. Just given who Canelo is, the experience that he has, the technique that he has, the IQ that he has, and they're thinking, what can Berlanga do in there to really mix things up or pull that rabbit out of the hat? Get that wild card factor out where he can win the fight.
Well, anything is possible once you step up in this ring, but Canelo with his experience is everything, especially at the top level. So that's where the problem's going to come in, because Canelo has seen every style, and he'll know what Berlanga's going to do while he's attempting to try to do it, and he'll be able to counter that. So I fully expect it to be a highly entertaining fight that probably will end between 6 and 8 rounds. And in my opinion, I think the fight's going to end in a body shot.
Body shot, yeah?
Body shot.
What do you see there, style-wise, that makes that opening for Canelo from what you've seen with Berlanga?
Canelo's definitely one of the top body punchers in the entire sport. And that's something he does really, really, really well. He knows how to place those shots. And because a lot of these fighters are kind of, like Floyd used to say, ABC, 1, 2, 3, basic. And he's able to counter all that. I can't say enough. He's seen every style that's out there.
Berlanga's younger, bigger puncher. He's bigger.
You think he's a bigger puncher?
That's a good question. Me looking at it objectively, I would say, well, potentially, and I'll tell you why, because Berlanga's bigger. And then the knockouts, and you can be like, well, who did he really knock out, Marcos? Who were those guys that he knocked out? But power is power. Other people may have not been able to knock those people out in the first round with some of the fights that he had early on. So I don't know. Am I right to think that, or what do you think?
Well, it also comes down to the opponents that he's faced. He had 16 in a row.
Yeah, 16 in a row, first knockout. Yeah.
So you have to look at the level of the opponents that he was able to do that to. And then you got to add in the factor when it comes to Canelo. He definitely has top 2 chins in boxing. I think him is tanking him. Had the best chins in the entire sport. You've seen both of them get hit with big shots and don't faze them.
Like the other thing that I was thinking too, like you always say that with a fighter who's in their mid-30s. Like Canelo, I believe, is at 33 at this point. But at some point, time is going to show through in a fight. And, you know, Canelo, to his credit, he's been facing a lot of young guys lately. You know, these are young guys in their prime. You know, some feel they might not be ready for Canelo at that point. But regardless, he's fighting young guys that are dangerous.
Yes, but the experience is always going to be the overwhelming factor. And he has a tremendous chin. You know, he's been active. All those things play into Canelo's favor. And say it again, the experience.
Given, like, a lot of people wanted him to fight David Benavidez. Like, you just knowing the business of the sport, does that fight ever happen, Leonard? Like, do you see it happen given, like, the rhetoric and like, the moves both have made?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so. I just think that, you know, it's a fight that the entire sport wants to see. You know, two of the guys at the top of their game, and the fans want to see that fight, and I think they will get it at some point next year. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion.
Given, you know, your experience with making the biggest fight ever in the history of boxing with Mayweather and Pacquiao, like, do you see or do you feel like Canelo's kind of trying to position himself to make that fight even bigger by, like, not taking the Benavidez fight right now?
Well, if and when that fight gets made, it's just where we are. That fight's not going to be able. It's the.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's going to be as big as that one. No. I'm just saying if he's going to try going that route, trying to make it as big as possibly can by kind of marinating it a little bit and delaying it so that, you know, David can grow and grow more.
Well, he wants to get paid. He wants to get paid for his work, and I respect that. I hear a lot of pushback saying that he's asking for too much money. There's never enough money when you're getting up there putting your life on the line. It's never enough. Never enough. So I support his decision to do it whenever he's ready to do it, because there's no such thing as him being scared of Benavidez.
Yeah, a lot of fans.
That man done fought everybody. He done fought everybody in the entire sport. Everybody. He has an incredible resume. What is he going to be scared of Benavidez for? And I'm a big Benavidez fan. What is he going to do? What is he going to do that Canelo hadn't seen before? He's a busy fighter. He's a good puncher, good ring generalship, great pressure. You know, always comes in shape. Outstanding fighter. Canelo's seen It'll be one of those fights I just can't wait to see.
Yeah, a lot of fans would say like Canelo hasn't seen someone that has all of that put together. A bigger guy who comes forward, who throws punches in bunches, nonstop work rate, and is young in their prime. And they say like, hey, what is Canelo got to be scared about? Well, this guy could potentially beat him.
He's not scared. Of course, David's an outstanding fighter, and when you look at that matchup, it's a great matchup. But I think that's a toe-to-toe battle, a throwback fight. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, a lot of people have given Canelo criticism over the opponent choices, and in interviews, Canelo said, hey, I'm just doing what's been done before. These guys did this before. You know, I'm at a place where I can pick and choose who I want to fight. Give us perspective on that, because I've heard a lot of talking points on that, like, oh, well, just because it's been done in the past doesn't make it right. Or like, hey, no, he's the guy. He could pick and choose who he wants. He's the guy right now.
He's at the top of his game. He's making a shitload of money doing what he do. And that's putting his craft to use and entertaining the fans at the highest level. So if you like if you're into, he's been active. That's very, very important, especially at a later fight in his career. He's still staying sharp. So I think that kind of stuff is always going to be in his favor. But I really love this fight, and I would hope to see the Benavidez fight get made at some point, hopefully next year.
Yo, listen, all I want is the best Berlanga out there. If we gonna do what Charlo did, don't even go in the ring with Canelo. I don't see this fight going past 6 rounds. Berlanga is a good friend of mine. I love him, you know what I'm saying? But you got to say it like it is, you know what I'm saying? Canelo's in the pound-for-pound list for a reason. You know, Canelo got a chin. Canelo could pop. you know, and I don't see Berlanga, you know, he don't got that power to knock out Canelo. You know what I'm saying? So what I see in the fight, Canelo walking him down and ripping him apart by the 6th round. You know, and Berlanga's my boy, bro, you know, and I hope he doesn't get upset, man, but that's just boxing, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a trainer. I can't lie, you know what I'm saying? And I think he took this fight too early. I think that he's not ready for him right now. Canelo's like still in his prime, you know, 33 years young, you know, and I think Canelo's still got a whole run to go with. And this is a big money fight for Berlanga. Take the money, go on vacation, have a great time, and I hope he doesn't get hurt.
Not really giving Berlanga much of a chance, which is surprising. You guys have been, it just shows, it's a testament of how real that you keep things, always keeping it 100 on and off the camera. Let me ask you, T.O. Sr.
It's going to go down. It's going to be a left hook to the body and an uppercut. It's going to be that Mike Tyson, whoo, whoo, you know what I'm saying? And finishing probably with a right hand afterwards. It's definitely going to be a knockout. You know, we haven't seen a knockout from Canelo in a while, you know, and Canelo got to show that come that night, you know, and you know, I don't, you know, people just get into like in their skin, man, when people say the truth, you know what I'm saying? But I got nothing against Berlanga, bro, but I think that this fight is just too fast for him, you know what I'm saying? I think that he should have just waited a couple more years, you know. They ain't no stopping Canelo right now.
Do you feel like when that first bell rings on September 14th that Edgar Berlanga might as well just start throwing haymakers and go for broke right away?
Got to go in there for broke. Berlanga got to go in there for broke. He's got to do what he said he was gonna do, and that's about the only. You know, every fighter got to punch his chance. You know what I'm saying? And I think that he needs to go in there for broke. You cannot try to outbox Canelo. Canelo knows how to cut the ring really good. Those body shots are devastating. You know, I wish, listen, man, they're both my friends, man, and I wish both of them the best. You know, but I think the best man that night is gonna be Canelo.
Sort of a change in tones in the overall arc of the fight. Both guys have been pretty respectful toward one another. Nobody really has said anything of any disrespect up until today. Do you feel like did you feel like Edgar Berlanga, his niceness came from a place of fear? What do you think was leading Edgar Berlanga to be so nice? Was it just to secure the fight, or do you think that he was trying to get on Canelo's good side?
I don't think any fighter that goes in the ring is scared of any other fighter. You know what I'm saying? You're always gonna be scared, man, because that's just nature. You know, it's just part of us. You know, there's no man in the planet that goes into that ring not scared. You know. There's different issues about being scared. You could be scared of being knocked out. You could be scared of having a bad performance. You could be scared of not looking good. You know, there's different ways of being scared. You know what I'm saying? So all those notions and all that stuff got to be away from your head. You know what I'm saying? You got to light up the lights that night, you know, for you to be successful. It's been done before. There's been a lot of upset, you know, and in boxing. I think the best chance that Berlanga got is to come in strong, come in hard, and be that monster he used to be back in the days. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only, you know, hope that I give him. Do I believe he's going to win? I doubt it. But every man has a chance. What I want to see Berlanga going in there, not respecting Canelo, and doing his work.
The Canelo fight against Berlanga, what do you make of it? I know Eddie wanted to, at one point before he got Berlanga the Canelo fight, you and Berlanga in that conversation, but what do you make of the chances that Berlanga has realistically against Canelo?
I mean, in boxing, you know, everyone has a chance, you know, especially if you're a hard puncher like he is, you know, you have a chance at landing a lucky shot, you know, but Canelo, I feel he's the king of the boxing world. You know, he's the face of boxing. You know, and he's earned it. You know, no one has fought as many champions as him in boxing right now. And I think Canelo is just gonna play with Berlanga. You know, I feel like Berlanga isn't.
as good as they make him to be, but you know, I mean, all the best to both of the guys, man. Let the best man win.
Canelo had a lot to say. Canelo
This
had
time,
a lot
huh?
to say a lot about Berlanga, saying he was gonna spank him. He was kind of doing like a little,
Oh, no way.
a little Tio dance. He was gonna spank him real quick, man.
No,
What would you tell Berlanga about what it's like on this level? Because you know, you've been on this level. We've seen you several times out in huge fights, biggest fights of the year. Berlanga getting his opportunity at the biggest fight of his life. What advice would you give him as you guys get ready to talk right now?
His advice, I would tell him, I'm gonna tell him too right now when we talk, it's just pretty much, hey man, focus more than ever now. Your life doesn't change until after the fight. You know, right now it's just spearing up in the pot. You know, that's all it is. But your life don't change until after you get the job done. That's it. So focus. Don't let the cameras and everything else distract you right now. And if you dreamt about Canelo, I know they made fun about it. But if you dreamt about Canelo, now make it a reality of you beating him. Show the world why manifestation is real. Show them why, you know, against all odds or anything like that can truly be in your asset and your benefit.
Do you think Berlanga has done enough to deserve this fight?
That's not up to me to ask and say. You know what I mean? That's Canelo's choice. That's Canelo. He's the king of boxing, and he's the pound for pound king. So he decides that.
What kind of odds do you give Berlanga early as we just open up? Guys are getting ready to go to camp and really put down some hard work preparing for the 14th. What kind of odds what odds do you give him right now?
I give him his youth. So the odds for me on that end, I'm gonna go 3-1, 2-1.
Yep. What do you think? How do you see the fight going?
I know it sounds far, right? But it's not. It's really not.
How do you see
Because
the
my
fight
odds
going?
was almost 5-1, 4-1.
How do you see the fight going September 14th? Canelo, TKO, knockout, what's the distance?
He's got it, right?
What's your opinion?
For me, I think that I think the fans are gonna get a great night, great explosive fight. You know, go early. We have a great card. You know, the undercard is phenomenal. We get to see Danny Garcia again, so another Puerto Rican that has done a lot for not just for their country and for the flag, but also for boxing. So, I mean, everyone just get there early. I'm gonna be there, so I'm not gonna miss this fight at all. I don't know who's gonna win. I'll be honest though.
Yeah, Canelo is fighting on September 14th, a week before your fight, Jaime. He's going against Edgar Berlanga. A lot of people are not giving Berlanga much of a chance in that fight. Do you give him a chance to be able to beat Canelo from what you've seen from him?
Pues no, yo pienso que la verdad debería de ganar Canelo en esa pelea, pero pues como ya lo he dicho, pues esto es boxeo y pueden pasar muchas cosas arriba del ring, ¿no? Pero yo veo como favorito también a Canelo.
Canelo should win. Like I've said, though, this is boxing. A lot of things can happen, but I see Canelo as a favorite.
Would you be surprised if Berlanga won? Like, do you see any chance of him being able to beat Canelo with anything that he's shown in the ring at this point?
Pues puede ser, he visto que tiene buen jab, tiene buena distancia, entonces si lo sabe utilizar puede tener una gran ventaja.
Could be. He has a good jab. I've seen he has good distance. So if he knows how to do that, he could have a good advantage.
I would imagine you're rooting for Canelo, right? Because he's the Mexican fighter and you've shared time with him. There's a lot of respect between you and him there.
¿Cómo dice?
Vas a estar apoyando al Canelo, ¿verdad? Porque vienen del mismo país, compartieron tiempo juntos. Hay mucho respeto mutuo entre ambos, ¿verdad?
Sí, así es, pues siempre hay que apoyar el talento mexicano, a todos los mexicanos y pues ahora sí que estamos con él.
Yes, I always support Mexican talent. You have to support Mexicans, and so I'm with him.
So I know you're not trying to help Berlanga, but what's something that maybe surprised you about facing Canelo that you would tell him, hey, watch out for this, or hey, it looks like this on TV, but it's a lot different when you're in there with Canelo?
Obviamente no sabemos, no le quieres ayudar a Berlanga, Pero si le podrías decir o dar un consejo, ¿qué dirías tú acerca del Canelo? ¿Qué te sorprendió? ¿Qué le dirías aguas con esto acerca de algo que ha hecho en el ring? O a lo mejor le dirías, hey, así se vio en la televisión, pero en el ring se vio de manera distinta. ¿Qué le dirías a Berlanga?
Eh, eh, no, pues nada, ¿para qué le decimos?
No, why
No,
are we
no,
going to tell him?
no, 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 pues nada más que tenga cuidado, que obviamente Canelo es un peleador inteligente, que es un peleador peligroso, pero pues que brinden una gran pelea para todo el público, eso es lo que le pedimos.
No, with Canelo, he's an intelligent fighter. He's a dangerous fighter. But what I would ask is for him to give a great fight for all the people.
It's a fight that I know both fighters, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a fight that I just want to see a good matchup, man. I'm not really going for anyone. I just want to see Edgar Berlanga come and really mean business. He's been talking a big game, so I just want to see him back it up.
Now, with this fight, I know he's seen as the underdog.
Yeah.
Given Canelo has so much experience, has fought at the highest level for such a long time in his IQ, but what are some things that can really give Canelo trouble in this fight that Edgar does possess?
Edgar doesn't have anything that Canelo hasn't seen. You know what I'm saying? But what Edgar needs to do is, I feel that he needs to probably take Canelo by surprise and apply pressure immediately. Not try to warm up into the fight. Maybe get a good warm up in that locker room so once you're in that ring, you got a nice sweat going on and you can just start right from the rip. Because if he plays chess with Canelo, Canelo's just too experienced, too sharp for that. And then Canelo being the older fighter, even though he's still fresh, he's going to pace himself in the beginning where, I feel that he needs to use his youth and just apply pressure. But if he goes in there and he tries to play chess with Canelo, it's going to be bad.
Him being the younger fighter, what are some other things that he could do potentially to give Canelo some fits in there? Maybe, he's catching Canelo at the right time.
Well, I don't think it's that he's catching Canelo at the right time because Canelo just dominated Munguia. And, Munguia, this is, is one of the top fighters in the division. So, I think what Berlanga has is he does have the punching power and everybody has, anything's possible when you have power. So to be able to land that against Canelo, you have to be really crafty, but I feel like he has to just apply pressure. And that's his best bet, man, is really going in there with some effort and just take no for an answer. If he goes into, playing the boxing or whatever, Canelo's really good at cutting off the ring and he's really good at attacking the body.
To you, Gabe, looking at it, is Canelo the bigger puncher or is Berlanga the bigger puncher in your opinion?
I think Canelo's the more experienced puncher. You know what I'm saying? Because power is power, but, if we go on a gunfight, you know what I'm saying, and I'm just shooting my bazooka, boom, 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 I mean, I might have, the other guy might have the Uzi, he might have the AK, he might have the shot, he might finish you with the shotgun. Canelo knows how to switch up that speed, where Berlanga's just shooting that shotgun. And that takes experience to understand how to switch speeds, how to throw decoy shots, how to just lift you up with an uppercut just to set up the hook to the body. So there's things that Canelo's the more dangerous puncher because he knows how to set it up better, especially at this level.
Now, when you look at Berlanga, do you think he does give Canelo like a very good competitive fight? Because I know many fans out there aren't giving him a shot whatsoever in this fight.
We don't know. That's what we're going to find out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna find out a lot about Berlanga. We already know about Canelo, and we already know what Canelo brings to the table. But as far as Berlanga, the level of competition is way different than what Canelo has faced. Canelo has faced Hall of Fame fighters, champion after champion. This is Berlanga's first champion that he's ever fought. So, you know what I mean? It's like, what does he do with this level of competition? Because, there's some fighters that they fight at the level of whoever they're fighting, right? He was fighting guys that he was just knocking them out in the first round. And he got challenged later on where fights went the distance. So this time around is like, is he able to use that experience now to then put it all together against the hardest fight of his life.
We saw in the Munguia fight, Canelo take it easy. I don't know. Do you think he took it easy on him?
He took it easy, man. I think he was dominating the fight to the point where he kind of said, you know, I'm not going to give him any free shots, and I'm not going to open up where I give him the only opportunity he has, which is land something clean out of nowhere. So I think it was just playing it safe where it's like, okay, I'm in full control of this fight. Let me just keep coasting and keep doing what I'm doing and play it safe rather than let me go for the kill against a young, strong fighter in Munguia who has no quit in him, who, you know, that was Munguia's only opportunity was for Canelo to engage with him where then Munguia might land something. You never know. So I think he was just being a veteran and just playing it smart.
Yeah, you know, I brought up the Munguia performance thinking, like, do you think Berlanga does better than what Munguia showed in that fight with the Canelo that, I don't know, I don't think he's going to coast because of the trash talk that's been going on.
That's the mystery. We don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, man, we haven't seen Berlanga challenge with a world-class fighter yet, with a world champion. So, you know, it all depends. I really don't know. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see him go into the fight and just put it all in the ring. But we'll see what happens.
You know, with you, Gabe, you being a guy that fought everybody, man. You didn't care who it was. Yeah. You didn't care how many weeks' notice. You took on every single comer. What do you make of the fans not being happy with this fight and saying, hey, you know what, Canelo, we want you to fight David Benavidez. Why isn't this the David Benavidez fight?
Yeah, well, you know, I think it's just a business move. You know what I mean? I don't think Canelo's ducking Benavidez. I think Canelo put himself in a position where he can do this. You know, he fought all the top guys. He beat champions, champion after champion. So he's in a position where he's like, yo, if that's the fight y'all want, that's the fight y'all demanding, then this is the kind of bread I want. And, you know, he's proven that he is he generates the most money in boxing. So I think a fight that is so everybody wants to see it is going to generate that kind of money. So I think he'll probably get the money that he's asking for. I just think it's a business move. I don't think he's ducking. And at the end of the day, Canelo is one of the fighters where, yeah, people might be not enjoying the fact that he's fighting, and I'll take that back. Not that he's not enjoying, but people might want him to fight, Benavidez, but they're still going to tune in to watch him fight Berlanga because it's like when I was growing up, Tito Trinidad was my favorite fighter, and I was a big fan, so it was like no matter who Tito fought, I don't care. I was supporting. So at the end of the day, Canelo fans are loyal, and they're going to watch anyway.
Yeah, how do you see that fight, Canelo and Berlanga?
Oh, man. I think it'll be a real interesting fight. Berlanga's got the power. I think Canelo's going to get to him, though. I think his defense is a little not there. But we're going to see, man, puncher's chance always. But, you know, Canelo got that granite chin, so it's going to be interesting. But I take Canelo by, like, mid-round stoppage, mid-round.
Speaking of Canelo, what's your thoughts on Canelo demanding $150 million to fight Crawford and $200 million to fight David Benavidez?
You know, he did his fair share. He's fought everybody. I mean, he wanted to fight Triple G. He fought Triple G 3 times. He's fought everybody. So he's in the position now to fight who he wants. And I don't really knock him for that. Try to get your bag, you know?
Oh, man, I can't go against Canelo on that fight. I know Berlanga is going to promote this fight. You know, he might convince a lot of people. But from what I've seen on tape, that's all I can go by. You know, unless Canelo slows down tremendously before the fight, I don't see how Berlanga can win it. I don't see him taking those shots. You know, I don't see him taking those shots and standing up to those shots. And if he can do that, maybe he can last. I don't know. But what Berlanga gonna shoot at Canelo, that's really gonna unnerve him. I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. But, you know, I've been wrong before. And I hope Berlanga put on the best show he could. I hope he performed at his best. But I just don't think it'll be enough to dethrone Canelo.
We've been just asking a bunch of fighters to give us their Canelo versus Berlanga breakdown. I know Berlanga is a New York native like you. How do you see that fight shaking out?
Yeah, man, Berlanga, he's one of those, me and him grew up together. Like me and him, his family, we tight. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow. Okay. That I did not know.
Yeah, no, we're tight. That's my boy. Yeah, Berlanga, I see. I really want him to be able to bring out what I've seen when he's doing in amateurs, and that's his boxing ability. You know, getting all them knockouts. I feel like he's gotten used to just knocking guys out, walking guys down. But Canelo's not one of those guys you do that with. Canelo has his toughest times with boxers, and Edgar Berlanga can box. I want him to get back to those basics, and if he does do that, he's gonna put on a much better fight than people think that's gonna happen on fight night. But if he goes in there and tries to knock Canelo out, then it's gonna be a tough night for Edgar. So I just want him to be, really smart, be real tactical, and use the experience that he's built up to this point, every bit of it to beat Canelo Alvarez. But obviously, I feel like people have Canelo as the favorite, but I'm gonna go for my boy Edgar Berlanga all day. That's my dog, bro. I mean, I can't go against New York, can't go against my boy Edgar, and that's just I really feel like this is a great fight for him. I'm super happy that he's gotten this opportunity.
Have you had a chance to speak to him at all since the fight was announced?
Yeah, I talked to him, and it's funny because he actually was like 2 years ago. He was been saying like, man, we're gonna fight Canelo, we're gonna whoop his ass, we're gonna do da. So I'm just like, yeah, like, I'm like, but now that the fight happened, I'm like, oh man, like it's happening, bro. It's amazing that he kind of just had this foresight to be able to set that goal and then actually tackle it. Man, I'm super happy for him, bro. It's just like, for someone that I've grown up with to be able to get this opportunity that people are just clawing at, and he just got it on a silver platter. It's just amazing for me to watch.
Yeah, no, Berlanga is very, very confident he wins this fight, and I think he exudes like an aura of confidence. Like, has he always been that way, even since he was a kid?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's also comes with the New York swagger too.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's just always was just natural. That just comes with this. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is.
So, how do you see him winning?
I would see him winning by decision.
Wow, decision. Because a lot of people feel like the only way he wins, knockout. He has to knock out Canelo.
Nah. Berlanga has the power. He has the power for sure. But Canelo has a habit of letting a lot of rounds go. You know what I'm saying? So if he's able to keep Canelo back and use his feet, then we're gonna have a good, he's gonna have a good run for himself. But Canelo has been hit by like the hardest punchers, even going up in weight and still, dealing with with a lot of power. So Canelo getting knocked out, I don't see that, but I think Berlanga, his best chance is trying to go for the decision.
In Edgar for as long as you have, when you see like some of the stuff people are saying, what are they underestimating about Edgar coming into this fight? What is Canelo underestimating about Edgar coming into this fight?
I think it's a bit of the experience aspect. Edgar, from the guys that he's fought to jump up and fight a guy like Canelo, that's like it's kind of crazy in terms of the experience. So I think that plays a part. And then Edgar, I would say, people like the fans have been kind of like saying that Edgar hasn't been putting on super dominant performances his last few performances, I guess. But man, I mean, you get the win, but when it's time to show up, that's when it matters. You know what I'm saying? Like a fight like this can bring out the best out of someone, and you just never know what'll happen. He might just upset Canelo Alvarez, and then what people got to say. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I really wish the best for Edgar Berlanga, man. I'm going for my boy all the way. Canelo Alvarez, he is one of the best to ever lace him up. But my boy Edgar, I really hope he does his thing, man.
Canelo Alvarez signed to fight Berlanga. What do you think about that matchup coming up?
Well, he was saying that David didn't bring anything to the table. He hasn't done anything, but I guess Berlanga has done more than David, in order for him to pick him. But I think just Canelo right now, he's just trying to get the fighters that he thinks that he's going to look good against. I mean, no disrespect to Berlanga. Anything can happen. He might pull up a big upset, but on his progress and fights, we've been seeing that he hasn't been developing that experience, like Munguia. So Canelo sees that, so he thinks that that's an easy win for him. But anything can happen, I'm happy, and I congratulate Berlanga for that fight. And everybody has a chance when they go up in the ring. But in my opinion, I think that Canelo team think that they could look good and maybe even stop him.
Berlanga doesn't have the experience that Canelo has. So I think it's a fight where he has to bring it to Canelo and pressure him, use his size, try to smother Canelo, be in the best shape in your life. Like, you gotta have the tank. You cannot get tired. You gotta be aggressive and stay on Canelo. I think that's his best shot, where you catch Canelo off guard, where you're expecting the kid to maybe to fight off the back foot, but surprisingly, he's just right there. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think Canelo expects Berlanga to fight him face to face right there, smothering him. So just catch him off guard.
The Berlanga fight got made. Berlanga's your fighter. How is that dynamic? Now you're going in against Canelo, who's not signed with you guys anymore. He's a free agent, but against someone who is signed with you in Edgar Berlanga. You're like kind of like on the other side now.
Yeah, happy to be involved. Really happy to be involved. I mean, you know, I promised Edgar Berlanga when we signed him from Top Rank that we would deliver him the Canelo Alvarez fight. And when we stopped working with Canelo, I was like, like realistically, are we going to get the pick from PBC? Thankfully, we did. Shout out as well Keith Connolly, who did a great job during the process of that fight. And now we're in the fight. Like, it's the first big fight we've done with PBC. Hopefully it's the first of many. We're going to push it nice and hard. I'm delighted that Edgar's been given the opportunity. I see some people say, oh, it should have been this guy, should have been that guy.
There's a lot of backlash.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's a mandatory challenger. He's undefeated. He's a good young fighter that punches hard. Who else is he going to fight? Take Benavidez out.
Yeah, I was going to say David Benavidez.
Okay. But we know for one reason or the other, not my business, that's not happening. So if that's not happening, who else is he going to fight? You know, really the options were William Skull, IBF mandatory, with all due respect, like, you're always going to choose Berlanga over Skull in that position. Charlo, that's not even really ready, hasn't boxed for like 2 years. Berlanga's up for it, and he's coming as a threat in this fight. So he'll give it everything. We're delighted to get the opportunity, and looking forward to it.
Just overall, you mentioned, you know, like, hey, who is he supposed to fight? There's no one really there. A lot of fans online displeased with the choice. Not that it's, you know, I think anybody in that position is going to take a Canelo fight, just given, you know, what it is, and it's for the titles as well, some of the titles. But, you know, with that, a lot of fans angry at Canelo for even making that choice to fight an Edgar Berlanga, saying like, no, like, we've been wanting you to fight Benavidez for the past year and a half now.
Yeah, I know Benavidez made his decision to move up to 175.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a question for Team Canelo. But we were very happy to get the pick. And Edgar will give it everything. And he'll give everybody a great fight.
You know, Edgar's already posted some videos online in regards to the backlash. Have you spoken to him about it? Like how, you know, it might be...
I don't really think he gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? So someone doesn't think he should, you know, he shouldn't have got the pick. Well, guess what? He got it. And he's making a fortune. And he's going to give it everything. So this kid has got a big heart, and he's got a massive set of cojones. And he's representing Puerto Rico against Mexico, and he's going to go to war against Canelo Alvarez.
You know, the other thing surrounding that event in September is the UFC event, the Noche UFC that's sponsored by Riyadh Season. Do you feel that Canelo versus Berlanga is a strong enough main event to be able to compete against that UFC event that they put together?
When you say compete, you know, compete in what respect? I mean,
people selling out, gate,
yes,
buys.
I mean, one, yes, I think it will sell out.
Yeah.
Two, I think the audiences are very different, but at the same time, it's a ballsy move. You know, is there a little bit of internal politics between MSG and MGM there? Probably. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not my decision. I mean, I've had loads of questions this week. Would you have done it? Maybe not. Maybe. Depends, you know. Sometimes these decisions are made with gusto and ego and a fuck you. Let's do it. Do you know what I mean?
That's a lot of boxing.
But that's just not boxing, is it? It's boxing against
Business.
UFC. So, but a lot of people are talking about that. A lot of people will talk about that rivalry of the shows on the same night, which will in turn also create some noise. So I'm sure it will do very well.
Was there any hesitation on going that weekend from you guys or from PBC and Team Canelo?
Well, it's not our show.
Yeah.
So we were made the offer. We would have gone on September the 14th, September the 12th, Monday night, Monday at 3 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's really not our decision. So we were told the date and we accepted.
Yeah, you know, it's just a weird situation on your guys' end, you know, because it's like I mentioned, you have that opportunity. You're not going to, like, you work for Edgar and you're trying to get him the biggest payday you possibly can.
We've done an amazing job.
Yeah.
And by the way, good luck to the kid. He's changed his life. But all I'm telling you is that I know him. I know him as a fighter and as a person. One, he's a very good fighter. Two, he's well up for this. Well up for this. And he will go to war with Canelo Alvarez on September 14th.
So that's the other thing that I've heard too is, yeah, he's up for it, but like, is he in the same class? Is he in the same level? Is he going to be able to?
I mean,
to be competitive.
We
with
don't
Canelo?
know because he's been undefeated. He's never really been close to getting beat. What did he have? 20 odd first round knockouts consecutively. Like, you know, he's had a couple of good wins lately. You never know till you step up. Like, I honestly don't think there's many differences in the levels between Jaime Munguia and Edgar Berlanga. Munguia gave Canelo a good fight. You know, he was beaten, but hopefully Edgar can go one better. Can he beat him? He's got a lot to do. But yeah, you know, you never know. Sometimes these guys can take it lightly. Sometimes they could be coming to the end of their career. But Canelo is an all-time great. We're up against it, but he'll give it everything.
People always complain for everything, but I'm happy. I'm happy. I like these kind of fights. And he's gonna feel pain, a lot of pain. Like I said to him, like he needs 20 like him to do something.
Why do you think he's nervous?
I don't know. Maybe nervous, maybe fear, maybe I don't know. But I don't know what he thinks.
Canelo, what do you say about all the fans that are saying they're going to boycott this fight because it's not Benavidez?
We'll see.
After today, I think...
We'll see. They say always.
I think all the...
And the guys say that is the haters, not my fans, not my real fans.
What about going up against UFC Noche the same day?
I don't care. I don't really care. Remember, I'm Canelo.
Canelo, you were doing some spanking motions. You were spanking, bro. What were you telling Berlanga just now?
No, now it's serious. Now it's personal. Like I said to him, but he needs 20 like him to do something to me.
Canelo dijo Turkey said he's no longer you're no longer in the running of working with him for the Crawford fight.
I don't really care about it. Look, I'm focused 100% on my fight, and I don't really care about it. They called me yesterday. They text me yesterday if it's possible to talk about the Crawford fight for February or meet to yesterday here in Los Angeles with him. And I said, look, I'm 100% focused on this fight, and I can talk about other fights. Maybe that's why he talked about that today, because I say I'm not ready to talk about other fights, and I don't really ask him for anything. I'm good.
Man, this was an entertaining ass press conference, Edgar. I know it's been some time now that it's finished, a few hours, but just overall, man, what brought all that energy, that emotion out of you this time compared to the New York one?
Nah, like I told everybody, right? Like New York, I was I was home. You know what I'm saying? I was in my backyard. I was calm, cool. For me, no shirt. You know, I'm comfortable in my city, man. But then I looked at the press conference, and I didn't like how he was just smiling in my face at one point. Kept smiling. And I take that as disrespect, as if he's overlooking me or if he thinking I'm like a piece of cake. You know what I'm saying? They say bicocho. And I ain't like it, bro. I ain't like it. I ain't like the aura. I ain't like his guille, how they say in Spanish, you know what I'm saying? That's an eat shit dude. So then I came out here and I already knew it was like 10-1, you feel me? So I'm like, there was a whole bunch of them. You seen there was a whole bunch of Canelo fans on that press conference today, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't shake me, I ain't bother me, nothing. But, you know, this is over everything, you feel me? Like, and he's the type of guy, he want everybody to respect him. I told him, I respect you as a fighter, bro. I respect you as a fighter. You are a legend. You beat a lot of great champions. But we're fighting September 14th. There's no respect, bro. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm from New York. We don't give respect to nobody, bro. Especially if you my enemy. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in having to fight somebody and making him my friend or having respect. Respect is due after the fight. You know what I'm saying? But right now, you trying to take my head off, bro. He's trying to take my head off. He said it. Oh, now you've been wanting to take my head off. You think I'm stupid? It's the art of war, dummy. You crazy? You think, because I'm going to shake your hand and I'm going to be a good gentleman to you, that I'm going to say, from you not hitting me hard? No, bro. It's the art of war. You crazy? We in war mode, you know? It's kill or be killed, bro. At the end of the day, that night I could lose my life, bro. So, and I look at that as every fight I fight in there. Every time I step in the ring, either sparring, whether sparring in the gym or training, or fighting in a fight with 10 ounce gloves, no headgear, you could die in that ring, bro. You could get here a certain way and end up like Pritchard Cologne. You know what I'm saying? A vegetable. And, you know, and that's something that we face daily, each and every day in that gym. You know, we risking our lives. So I take this shit serious, man. And I take boxing serious. I take life serious. So, you know, this fight, I'm taking it serious, man. Like, I know we gotta go in there, and I gotta put my all on the line, you know, with my shield, with my sword, man, and go to war.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.